3, 2, 1. Welcome, everyone, to the All Ball Podcast. It is Tuesday, March 1st. I am your host, Joseph Shelton, here with my co-host.
Yep.
On the first hour of today's episode, we will be doing our free agency preview, discussing all the upcoming free agents in the NFL and where we think is the best place for them to land. We will also be giving our way too early divisional winner predictions. In hour 2, we will be discussing college basketball after a crazy Saturday and heading into the last few games before the conference tournaments begin. We will look at the rankings and give our predictions of the top seeds for the tournament. We will also discuss Sean McVay turning down a $100 million contract from Amazon, as well as our first impressions from James Harden in Philly. This is the All Ball Podcast. Pepsi is the best soda. You cannot change my mind.
I would say Sundrop, Dr. Pepper.
Sundrop's good, but
Mountain Dew, but not the normal Mountain Dew. All the different flavored ones.
All right,
Pepsi's better than Coke though.
That's definitely true. I stand behind that.
I think Coke sucks. unless
vanilla Coke.
Unless you're mixing it with something. Then I would say Coke is better in like mixed drinks and stuff than Pepsi, but just straight up I think Pepsi's better than Coke.
Yeah. All right. So, some breaking news today. The MLB Players Commission and the league met again on Monday. They did not come to an agreement, so opening day is likely to be canceled at this point. Not that big of a surprise. I think a lot of us saw this coming. We've talked about it some. So, yeah, they just can't come to an agreement. According to some sources, what's his name? Britton, the pitcher? Britton? I don't remember his first name. Anyway, they are not that close either. So that's interesting.
I saw that there's speculation that it might be heading towards at least the first month of the regular season that they might be missing, possibly more. The thing is that I think the players have all the leverage in the world because the owners are not going to make money without games being played. I think the players are willing to sacrifice, a quarter of their years of their contract, right? Just to eventually make more money and get their bargain agreed to. So I think as of right now, the players are definitely just going to hold out until the owners decide to cave in. But then again, the MLB is very stingy and very stubborn, and so.
Well, also the MLB might be shooting themselves in the foot here because once they realize people don't really care about the first month of baseball and only care like I'm going to be mad if I don't have baseball the weekend of July 4th. That's where I'm going to start getting like, okay, where's baseball? Come on.
Yeah, right. No, especially you look at it basically until the last month and a half, 2 months before the playoffs, all anybody's talking about is awards, not really World Series predictions.
I guess, yeah. I'm going to care after. If the NBA finishes and I don't have baseball, then I'm going to be a little upset. But until then, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially spring training. I don't think I've ever watched a spring training game in my life. It doesn't mean anything. The first month, there's always the good teams that struggle and the bad teams that pop off. And then by the end of the year, everything is straightened out. And so really it doesn't matter, up until the end of the year. There's so many games that
Right.
You're
Yeah.
right.
All right. So let's get into the NFL. So there's a lot of big free agents this year. Among them, Devonta Adams,
You
Chris
want to do?
Godwin.
You want to look at the top 10 maybe, and then just highlight on some important ones after that.
So
Okay.
I just want to make sure because.
So this is ranked by Greg Rosenthal. I actually like him. He's on, I think, it's not the Herd. What is he on normally? I don't think it's First Take. It may be the Herd. Either way, I do like this guy. So he put out his top 101 NFL free agents. This is on NFL.com.
Right.
So we're just going to kind of highlight some of the big guys, maybe have an idea of where they might land, what it could do to some, teams if they were to acquire him. So I guess you want to just start off at number one?
Yeah, so number one, Devonta Adams. This is very Aaron Rodgers dependent, in my opinion. But on the other hand, I also think if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, I think he gets tagged. That's kind of my feeling on it. I think him and the Packers are kind of waiting this out to see what Aaron Rodgers does before either side comes to the table to offer a deal. I don't see Devontae wanting to stick around in Green Bay if Rodgers doesn't re-sign, unless they throw him an absolute bag, which is very un-Green Bay-like.
They don't have the money to.
Right. So I think this is all very Aaron Rodgers dependent. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't re-sign, I think they could potentially tag him. I don't see a major deal getting done without at least a couple-year commitment from Aaron Rodgers.
I think there's going to be two options for Devonta Adams. One is Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay and he stays there, or two, Aaron Rodgers leaves and the Packers franchise tag him and make a huge package deal with him and Rodgers to wherever they decide on. Might be Denver. I think that's probably the most likely landing spot. You just look at it because I think the Broncos have quite a bit of youth that they could, trade back in return. Especially the Broncos all around are stout defensively. They're just missing that quarterback. And let's say they get rid of KJ Hamler and a couple picks and maybe another young guy. That's definitely worth it for arguably the best receiver and one of the best quarterbacks. So I think two options is either he resigns or gets traded.
Here's the issue with Denver, in my mind, is that just for now this is kind of getting off topic, but just as a landing spot for Aaron Rodgers, I don't think I think Pittsburgh fits a lot better than Denver because think about how tough the AFC West is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You already have three very good quarterbacks in that division and possibly another one of maybe the best quarterbacks in football. So I don't know. I think Denver's tough, but yeah, I agree with everything else you said.
Only reason I would give the nod to Denver over Pittsburgh is they got Nathaniel Hackett as their coach now, so Aaron Rodgers will basically be running the offense he wants, as well as I'm not super big on the whole division thing because either way you're gonna have to play the great teams in the playoffs anyway. So what's a couple extra reps? What's a couple extra reps against them in the regular season? And let's say they don't get the 1 seed, they don't even win the division. Let's say they get the 5th seed or whatever. Well, the 4th seed just won this year. Both 4 seeds actually made it this year. And the championship games were the 2 seed and the 6th seed, I believe. So seeding in the playoffs, I really don't think is...
Yeah, you make a good point.
Except for the 1 seed, obviously. Didn't pan out this year. But.
All right. So moving on, the number 2 is Chris Godwin. He was 4th in the NFL in yards after the catch since 2019, which is pretty good. So he's really good at yak. He fits in any scheme. So he's just entering his prime at age 26. He's huge. I don't think the Bucs can afford to pay him. They kind of went all in again on this year, and I don't think they're gonna want to go all in again next year unless they can get a quarterback like Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, because it really doesn't benefit them to go all in, if they don't have the quarterback in place. So I think unless barring that they get a guy like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, I think he leaves.
Yeah, for sure. Especially you look at it, he can get a haul. Especially if he goes to a dumpster fire that has a lot of cap, he could be,
right,
right behind Devonta and DeAndre Hopkins as the highest paid receiver. You just look at how young he is. He's going into his prime. And yeah, he is coming off, I think, back-to-back years with some injury issues. Obviously, a big one this year, tearing his ACL. But I think a good fit, because I think there's two things. Is he obviously he wants to get paid, but then also he's kind of been that number 2 option. And even though he posted better numbers than Mike Evans some years, he's kind of been that number 2 option in that Bucs receiving core. Right. So I think he kind of wants to assert himself as a top receiver. I think the Patriots would be interesting for him. Now it's all about how he believes Mac Jones is going to play, right? But he would easily be the number 1 option. He would get 200 targets in the Patriots offense. And yeah, they run the ball a lot, but that's really because they didn't have that many skill position players outside the tight end. So I think the Patriots would be, in my opinion, his best fit if he leaves.
I agree. I think the Patriots would be a good fit. I think another interesting one, now this is kind of out in left field, but I think Vegas would be a good fit for him. Especially, I think he would work really well with Derek Carr. Also, potentially Pittsburgh, I think, would also be a pretty good fit. Because, they have a couple, they have Juju, and they have
Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson.
I think Chris Godwin would be better than any of them at the moment. He's just more developed than Claypool and Deontay Johnson. And I think
him and Deontay Johnson, that would be a great combo because they can both play slot. They can both be that number 1 option.
Right.
Outside.
So I think that would be a good fit for him. Okay, moving on. So J.C. Jackson, cornerback was with the Patriots. He has 25 picks in 4 seasons. He's very good man-to-man. So he's going to get a bag. At age 26, a shutdown corner like that is very hard to find. I would think he stays with the Patriots. The Patriots have a history of paying defensive players. They're in a window or they think they're in a window with paying Mac Jones not a lot of money. If they can get a couple more offensive pieces, their defense played very well this year. So I would assume he stays.
My guess is he leaves, and here's why. So he's easily a top 5 cornerback, asserting himself as a top 5 cornerback in the league. Just an absolute ball hawk, 1-to-1 coverage. He gets beat every now and then. But you look at Trayvon Diggs, everybody ranks him super highly. He gets beat all the time. He just gets a lot of picks. So he makes a lot of plays. I don't know why the Patriots wouldn't have extended him already if they weren't going to re-sign him. That's just weird. That's just weird to me because he's 26. This is his 4th season. Well, going into his 5th season in the NFL. He's never had injury bugs or injury history. Was an absolute menace for him and Matt Judon in that Patriots defense this year. So I'm surprised that the Patriots wouldn't have already dealt with his contract. On top of that, you look at their past history, they have let a couple guys walk. They let Chandler Jones walk. I don't know if that was their Super Bowl year or the year after, but they let him walk when he was going into his prime. They let a lot of their veterans from last year walk. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially because you look at their last offseason, they put so much money in the offense that I wouldn't be surprised if they attacked that again just to try and get Mac Jones developed as fast as they can. I think Bill Belichick wants to win more than anybody. So my guess is he walks. Where to? There's a lot of options. I think a good fit would be Kansas City if they could work around the cap. But them and the Rams just know how to do it, so I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a contender like that.
I guess I wouldn't be shocked if he got franchise tagged. Who else? They don't need to franchise tag anybody else, really.
I don't think so. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. So the next one on this list, Turon Armstead with the Saints. He has a bit of an injury history, but he's a top 5 tackle. Great reputation as a leader with the Saints. I don't know. I think the Saints are in a weird position too. Like they're probably going to be rebuilding again. Do they want to give a 31-year-old tackle another bag? Like I'm not necessarily sure. I think the odds are better that he leaves. An interesting landing spot for him, I would think, would be possibly Dallas. They need to rebuild their offensive line a little bit. Also, if Seattle is really interested in keeping Russell Wilson, I think Seattle would also be a great landing spot.
Yeah, you stole mine with Seattle.
Yeah, you were thinking
Dang.
Seattle.
I think he leaves for sure. Well, okay. He has the ability to get paid easily over $15 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He's that talented and that good.
The Saints have
no
cap.
The Saints cap is horrible right now.
I don't understand how theirs is worse than the Rams.
Well, because they're paying these guys from 3 years ago that they already released, but they're still under contract. They're just paying. It's not that they're paying like, they're paying a lot of stars, obviously, but they're just paying so many people is the problem.
The Rams are paying even on the quarterback roster. A lot of money.
Yeah, so I think he leaves. I was gonna say Seattle, beat me to it, but another spot that I wouldn't be surprised, kind of like what I said with KC, but I'm gonna go with the Rams instead. Now that they're Andrew Whitworth, I don't know if he has confirmed he's retiring or not. I think he did. I'm pretty sure he said he was retiring, but either way, they need that hole to fill in that Rams offensive line. It put him right back into contention. Same conference, I guess. So he's seen most of the pass rushers that he'll be seeing in the regular season next year. So I think the Rams would be my preferred spot for him to land. The only thing with that is they probably won't re-sign OBJ at that point then. But they're getting Robert Woods back, and they won with 2 receivers this year. Well, 3 really. So I think the Rams would be my spot for him.
All right. Orlando Brown for the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded a first-round pick for him a year ago. He played well on the line. I don't see him leaving. Not likely.
Yeah, it's just another thing. Like, I wish they would have dealt with his contract early, especially when you gave up that first-round pick. Yeah. But I think in his better interest, he might as well stay. The Chiefs have the ability to move some pieces and make some cap space. Obviously, he's probably going to get a haul with him being 26 and having a pretty decent year. So I think his best spot would be to stay in Kansas City. Yeah.
Although what is fascinating is Patrick Mahomes' cap hit is about to start hitting pretty hard here soon.
Yeah.
It's about to be, what is it? I think at one point it gets up to over $60 million cap hit. It gets high at some point. So
yeah, no, the Chiefs are gonna dude. Unless they rework his contract, the Chiefs are not gonna be in contention.
What did they give him? They give him $500 million for 10 years.
Yeah,
and it gets because it hasn't kicked in yet.
I don't even think that's including the signing bonus either. The $500 million. I don't think that's including this. It's crazy. Crazy times, but I think for sure I agree he stays in Kansas City. This next one I think is interesting.
Yeah, Mike Williams. So there's a couple of very good receivers on this list that aren't too old either.
He's young.
That aren't too old. Devonta being the oldest at 29, but Mike Williams, he's 27. I think the Chargers would like to re-sign him. I think they would like to. I think they're going to make a big push to. Tough thing is he's their second receiver. That's what makes it tough. It's similar to like the Chris Godwin situation. You know what I mean?
Can't pay him.
It's a similar situation. Like Mike Williams is a number 1 wide receiver talent, probably playing the number 2 receiver to Keenan Allen. So I don't know. It's tough. I think they'll make a big push to re-sign him, and I think they should, just to keep weapons around Justin Herbert to help him. I And he would go to, would see him landing any of the other places where we talked about possibly like New England or Pittsburgh or Vegas, something along those lines. And I just want to bring it up again. Keep an eye out. We already mentioned it, but keep an eye out for Seattle to possibly get very aggressive here in an attempt to retain Russell Wilson. So that could be another sneaky spot.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think there's been a lot of speculation he's probably going to leave and try and get paid that top receiver money. So 2 spots, I think. I saw one. I've seen this a lot, actually, is Chicago. A lot of talk about him going to Chicago. They have...
Right.
He'd be easily that number 1 receiver. They could probably peel away some money and get, enough cap to sign somebody like that. That would be great for the development of Justin Fields. Especially getting a new coach in there that they might be able to build a concept on offense around Mike Williams and their run game. So I think that'd be a good fit. Another thing, I'm not sure what the Cardinals cap situation is looking like, but I think him and DeAndre Hopkins would be a great dynamic duo. D-Hop is just,
right.
Anything within 50.
A second receiver there, though. That's the only
problem.
Yeah,
you're right. But I just think that anything within 15 yards thrown at D-Hop is caught. But then you also got Mike Williams on the other side who can just torch you down the field. Like he's a big play receiver, Mike Williams.
Right. And he's also a big body receiver too. So
right. And so
he's a huge catcher.
Hail Marys, bro. Put Mike Williams and D-Hop on the same side of the field.
Yeah. No, I would like that for Chicago. That would be huge. Because, it seems now we'll get to Allen Robinson in a little bit. I don't see it likely that he comes back. No, I don't see that likely at all. So it would essentially be a replacement for him, which, yeah, I would take that. Okay, Von Miller. I don't think the Rams re-sign him. He was there for about half the season, got his Super Bowl. I don't see it likely that they re-sign him. They just can't obviously re-sign. They can't sign everybody. I would think. Maybe they can. Maybe they know something I don't know. And I think he wants to get at least one more big payday. So I think he would leave. Some interesting places. The Browns would be interesting. They're losing Jadeveon Clowney probably. The Browns would be an interesting landing spot. You need a pass rusher. Possibly, here's what I was thinking. Now, I think the Jets are going to hit more on offense than on defense to try to help Zach Wilson, but they do have the cap space if they wanted to add a piece. Whether Von Miller would be interested in going to the Jets or not is up in the air, but I think my number one option for him would be going to the Browns.
So I think there's 2 options here. One, it depends on what Von Miller's looking for. He very, very well may be looking for a final big payday just to, because he's nearing the end of his career. But he also might be, he showed in Denver when he kind of told him he didn't want to be there anymore. He loves winning. He's a championship guy. He wanted another championship, and he got that. So I think 2 things is, one, he either stays in LA on a small contract just to maybe have another championship run, or B, he just goes to an absolute crap dumpster fire and just gets an absolute haul like the Texans or the Jags or something dumb like that is irrelevant, but he'll just make as much money as he can. That's my guess.
Yeah, I was just thinking another interesting one would, in the AFC North still, the Ravens would be interesting too.
That's true.
That'd be interesting because they just lost what's his name, to the Patriots last year.
Matthew Judon.
Matthew Judon, right. So that would be another interesting landing spot. And they would be competitive still. Next one, Carlton Davis from the Bucks. He's 25. This is interesting. I feel like he's more likely to get re-signed to the Bucks than Chris Godwin. I also wouldn't be surprised if they used a franchise tag on him. That wouldn't shock me. The Bucks got really thin at corner this year with a lot of injuries. I think they would like to prevent that in the future. So locking Carlton Davis up for the next 5 to 6 years would probably be a very smart move for them.
Yeah, I think he definitely has the ability to stay in Tampa Bay, and I think it all hinges on if what's their preferences between Chris Godwin and Carlton Davis. They definitely need Carlton Davis. They have one of the worst secondaries in the league without him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a cool fit for him if he would leave would be Dallas. They might lose Amari Cooper, but that pair in the back, because that's really that's Dallas's weakness easily on defense is their secondary, especially from the cornerback position. They just got beat over the top a lot this year. So I think him, as well as being able to have that ball hawk on the opposite side of the field, it's kind of like that Ravens duo they have with Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey, where Marlon Humphrey just shuts people down, and then Marcus Peters on the opposite side of the field just gets you a couple extra plays, and he doesn't have to commit as much because he's not going against that top guy. I think that'd be a great fit. And Dallas has shown they like paying a lot. They like paying people big money. That's what he's expecting is big money. So I think Dallas would be cool.
That makes sense. Next one, Chandler Jones at 9. Came out and had a huge game against Tennessee, but that was basically all he did for the year.
Yeah,
that was what he had in him.
Some injuries and just didn't do much some other times. So
probably re-signs with the Cardinals. Probably. I don't know. Everybody always needs a pass rusher. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would fight if they didn't. But I don't think he'll be able to command big money. So I would see the Cardinals back.
Obviously, he's been one of the best pass rushers as of recent in the league. Probably the best besides TJ Watt over the last couple of years. But no, he's had some injury issues. I don't think he's going to get paid like these young guys getting 4 or 5 year contracts to over $100 million. It'd be decent for him to stay in Arizona, but maybe he wants to, if he has a better championship window, he might like to sneak somewhere else, like Seattle. Seattle needs a lot of defensive players,
right?
And they're in just as good a position to win a Super Bowl as the Cardinals, I think.
Chargers
would be cool.
Interesting.
They need run stoppers, so
right.
That would help.
Yeah. Next, Jesse Bates. So he didn't have a very good regular season, but he was fantastic during the postseason. He's young. The Bengals should theoretically have quite a bit of cap space right now. I would envision them re-signing him for, and probably not command a ton of money. So I see this as a pretty easy re-sign.
Safeties don't get paid that much. Nobody should be making Jamal Adams money as a safety. How about that?
Especially Jamal Adams.
He should definitely stay in the Bengals. Dude, they're all in that perfect age that they're going to grow and develop with each other and all hit their peaks at the right time. So if he is looking to make money as well as be in Super Bowl contention, Bengals are definitely his number one option.
Right. All right. So now that we're outside of the top 10, we're just going to highlight some big names before we move on to division predictions. Just outside the top 10 is Tyrann Mathieu. I think he likes it in Kansas City. I don't think he commands the biggest money, but he's still a huge playmaker for them, which is great. He's a huge part of their defensive culture, and I think he likes it there. He probably stays.
Yeah, it's not a bad
He's worth
fit.
more to them than he is to another team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. I could agree with that. I'm just scrolling. I'm actually quite a bit down the list here, and a lot of these guys are just older veterans. So, I mean, they could go to any contender on a short deal.
Odell?
Odell could do the same thing. I don't know if he's looking to get paid. That's the thing, is you don't really know. Congrats on his first kid. Champion. That's a good name.
Wait, what?
I was just saying Odell's Beckham's name is his kid's name is Champion, I think.
No, Champ. No. That was
Champ. Oh, you're
Robert
right.
Woods.
That was the other one. Yeah, you're right. I'm
Robert
dumb.
Woods.
Nah, it was Van Jefferson, I think.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Robert Woods.
Dang it. I thought that was OBJ. Either way, congrats. I think he had a kid though. Either way, right?
He'll go somewhere. Like I think,
Whatever.
yeah. I don't.
He
He'll
can stay
for
there.
sure go somewhere. I don't think he stays in LA, but I really don't know on him.
Yeah, you don't know. I think he's
honestly low key. I could see him retiring. To be perfectly honest, I don't think he will, but I wouldn't be shocked if I heard.
Yeah,
that.
I think he's really in that same Aaron Rodgers class where they both have like.
Got a lot of.
They're
stuff
just
going
all
on
over the place.
Right.
So I could see him. I could see him staying on the Rams for a short deal, but if he wants to get paid, he might go to somewhere. Well, he's already tried the Cleveland thing, and I definitely think he wants to stick with a contender.
I think he wants to stick with he needs to be with a functional organization. You know what I mean? So he worked on the Giants, even though they weren't great at the time because there was Eli Manning was there, Tom Coughlin was there. They were very functional. And then towards the end, when they started getting a lot less functional, he started going off. You never heard about problems with Odell at LSU. There was never any issues there.
Right.
It was LSU's a very functional program.
How about this? That's a good point. How about New England? Do you think Bill Belichick would give him a contract?
I don't think it'd be huge, but I think he definitely would. And I don't think I think Odell knows what he needs at this point. You know what I mean? I think he knows what he needs. So I think that would be I think New England would be a good fit. I think if Russ stays, I know we've mentioned him a lot, but Seattle, I think they just need help.
They need to do something. So
another interesting, the Titans could be interesting potentially. Players, as much as Ryan Tannehill is limited, players seem to really like Mike Vrabel, and that's a very strong culture. Julio wasn't doing it for him, so if they added another receiver, that would be interesting. Tennessee would be an interesting one. Yeah. You see anything else catches your eye on here? Jameis, I need Jameis.
Yeah, I think Jameis just resigns would be my guess. Try and have a good year and maybe make a big bag next year. Because he only played half the season, I don't think he gets paid that much anywhere else. So I think he resigns.
Right.
That's about it though for me.
Okay. Rob Gronkowski, he's gonna retire, so I don't think he should be on this list.
Yeah. Should get traded to the Lions. You ever heard that?
No, he said he would. He said the only other quarterback he would play other than Tom Brady is Joe Burrow.
I mean, dude, that'd be cool. See you in black and orange. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Speaking of, I didn't know Juju was a free agent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So speaking of, Cordell Patterson. Dude,
he could go anywhere. He's such a fun player.
I'm so mad the Bears didn't re-sign him. And he was such he was loving Chicago too. He was all over social media. He was trying to recruit other players to the Bears and just makes me upset. Just makes me upset. Let me just finish looking at this list real quick. Ooh, what do you think about MVS being a free agent?
No, that's all right. They have a lot of free agents. Douglas and Devondre Campbell.
Leonard Fournette.
Hopefully they get Devondre Campbell back. Lenny's probably gone.
I think quite a few people are going to be leaving the Bucs.
Yeah.
Sorry,
even if they get Jimmy G. Even if they get Jimmy G. I mean, I don't think that makes them. That doesn't put them over a lot of people.
You guys had a good 2 years. You got a Super Bowl out of it, so can't be mad. Oh, no. Oh, Kevin King. Oh, what will the Packers do if they lose Kevin King? Oh, my gosh.
He's in the top 100?
95.
Damn, this free agency sucks.
He's ahead of Dante Hightower.
He's really old.
You guys who's 101? Did you see this? Look who's 101.
Justin Fields, I don't know.
Justin Fields is a free agent. Andy Dalton.
No, he should go back to Chicago and keep his starting spot. He's not a starter on a lot of teams, but I think Chicago would be his best fit.
We got 10 minutes here. Let's move on to our division predictions. NFC East. This one for me, pretty easy. They have the best quarterback. They have the best roster. Dallas.
Why did my light shut off? I don't know why my light shut off, but okay.
Best quarterback, best roster, and by far best defense.
I've said this a couple times.
You like the Eagles.
Philly, bro. Dude, since 2004, there's been no team that's won back-to-back division titles.
Okay.
And on top of that, it's freaking Dallas. They're going to do something stupid. It's Mike McCarthy. He's going to do something stupid. I know it's going to happen. I've seen it my entire life. Think about that. Dallas has been easily a bottom 10 dysfunctional franchise since we've been alive. Easily. They're
We had this whole argument like
they're so chaotic all the time that they're just going to do something dumb and Dallas is going to miss the playoffs. I've seen it. It's going to happen.
Dude,
I promise you, Philly is on the up and coming.
We had this same argument like a month ago, and I get it. Like, I don't like Dallas that much either, but they have by far the best quarterback in that division. Like, I'm not as high on Dak as some people are. Some people are way higher on Dak than I am, and he's by far the best quarterback in that division.
That's okay.
Dude, quarterbacks win you divisions. Seriously. I don't see freaking Daniel Jones ain't winning no division. All right?
I think Jalen Hurts is way better than Daniel Jones.
I need to see Jalen Hurts complete 3 passes in a row before we say he's a good quarterback. I
don't think he's good. Well, I don't think he's great, but I think he's definitely above average. Like, if you're asking me if he's above or below top 16, I'd say he's above.
Jalen Hurts or Baker? Go.
Jalen Hurts.
Baker. Stop.
Really?
Yes.
You're one of the biggest Baker haters in the world.
Yeah, but he's got a way better arm. He's way more accurate.
That's not their offense, so who cares, dude? It's literally not their offense.
Whatever. You got to throw the ball when you're
okay, fine. Baker is better than Lamar.
No, he's not, though.
He's got a better arm.
I don't even know if that's 100% true. I mean, it is. Okay. It's definitely true.
Exactly. Stop.
Listen, it's definitely true, but, listen, the gap isn't as significant. And Lamar does things that nobody else does. All right? I understand Jalen Hurts is good at running the ball, but the gap in their arm talent is a lot bigger from Baker to Jalen Hurts than it is from Baker to Lamar.
Give him a year.
There's levels to this thing. All right.
Baker's better than Lamar, bro. You heard it from Joey.
I did not say that.
So the North. So are we doing this with or without Rodgers? Are we predicting Rodgers? Are we doing 2? Well, I mean, then again, you might not pick the Packers even if Rodgers stays. So
if the Packers stay, I hate Rodgers. I hate the Packers. But if Rodgers is there, they're gonna win. Okay.
So we're in agreement there. So I guess we'll put a little asterisk there. Big if. So this is assuming he leaves, right?
So we're putting Packers asterisks. Also, we're gonna do this all again in after free agency and the draft is done. So everything's subject to change. You got me fired up. Oh, really? Vikings. No. Shut up. You know who it is. You know it's the Bears.
That's so funny.
Stop. You know who it is. It always was.
It's always the Bears division.
Yeah, especially now that we don't have an absolute moron as our head coach. And Justin Fields is going to get better. Oh, you don't even know. It always was.
Okay.
What? Give me
Okay, how about this? How about this?
give
How
me
about this? How about
three
this? How
good
about
things
this?
the Vikings do. Also, they just fired the head coach this year.
Without Rodgers, they have the best they have the best quarterback. They have the best roster. They have the best front office.
No.
If Rodgers is gone,
They fired their front office all this year. What are you talking about? They all got fired.
Yeah, that's true. They did lose their GM, but they have made good decisions.
Oh, they're really good.
They have made good decisions in the past, and it's not just up to the GM when it comes to personnel. So they have the best roster and easily the best quarterback.
Fine. NFC West. Easy. Well, not easy, but
yeah, Rams definitely. I'm gonna follow you on that one. I could see the Seahawks bumping it up. With Russ coming back.
49ers bumping it down.
But now you just look at the division. They got the best coach for sure.
Well, not the best quarterback, but the best overall roster.
I think Russell and Matt Stafford are like...
Russell's better.
I think they're both in that,
Russell's better. You're forgetting, because Russell didn't play that well this year and he was injured. You're forgetting. Russell Wilson's incredible.
Okay, but Matt Stafford's incredible.
He's good.
I would argue Matt Stafford and Russell Wilson are both in like that tier.
Russell Wilson
below.
So there's the top tier. There's the top 5 tier. Russell Wilson is in the top 5 tier. Matthew Stafford is 1 tier below the top 5 tier.
See, I think you could argue that there's 5 quarterbacks better than Russell Wilson right now.
Go.
Burrow, Allen.
No.
You don't think Burrow's better than Russell Wilson?
No, I think Russell Wilson's better than Burrow right now. I think Burrow might be better at some point.
So I'm going to go Burrow. I'm going to go Rodgers. I'm going to go Mahomes, Josh Allen. And number 5, you could argue Russ. You could argue Herbert. You could argue a lot of people.
I'll give you Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers. Say it.
Okay.
All right, next one.
Either way, I have the Rams. We both agree on that. So
yes. All right. Wait, why did I put the NFC West twice. What did I forget?
South.
Oh, the NFC South. Dude, I honestly
I'm going with the Falcons.
Yeah, it's a good one. Or
I could see Tampa. Just depends on who they get.
Yeah. We'll see who they get, but the Falcons, barring Tampa gets a competent quarterback.
Yeah, I think second year as a coach, Arthur
Falcons
Smith's
might not be over 500. They might win this division.
Yeah, no, dude, this is the NFC East from a couple of years ago. I think whoever wins that division is one and done, even if it is Tampa Bay. So,
all right, we got 2 minutes left. AFC East. Bills.
Yeah, not much to talk about there.
Lock it in.
They're losing. I think they're going to be worse. They are losing a couple people, but AFC North.
Bengals.
Probably. I was debating Ravens.
AFC West. Chiefs. Again.
Broncos.
Barring.
They could, I guess, if they get Rodgers. Yeah. I don't know. Depends.
AFC South. This is interesting. Carson Wentz probably not coming back to the Colts.
Going Titans.
Get rid of them. Titans. Yeah. With Henry back. You know what? The biggest mistake the Titans made was against the Bengals? They ran Henry too much.
Yeah.
Should have given the ball to Devonta Foreman.
I'm changing one because I don't think all 4 division winners are going to repeat. I'm going to put the Ravens in instead of the Bengals.
That's a good point.
I don't think they're all going to repeat. I'm going Ravens.
There's no chance they all repeat.
It could be the Colts. Depends.
Yeah, but they're getting rid of Wentz. They don't even have a quarterback
for sure. A guarantee is the Bills win the East, barring injury. That's the most guaranteed.
Barring an injury to literally Josh Allen.
Yeah, right. I think when we say that, we just imply that
you know what? I'm gonna go Chargers.
It's a good one.
They had a chance this year until they fell off and the Chiefs picked it up. So the Chiefs notoriously start slow. They're coming off a pretty heartbreaking loss last year. You never know. So I'm actually going to switch Chargers because I just don't see anybody being the Titans in the South. And I like the Bengals.
Yeah, no, they have the best coaching staff, the best front office, I think, as of right now.
Right.
You don't think the Jags can do it?
No. So we'll be back here next hour with a whole lot more. So see us on the other side.